Good morning. I expect everybody can see me and hear me. Okay, thanks. This is a repeat of a presentation I already did for some people before. So you might be seeing stuff that you have seen before, and I have updated it only a little bit. So this is about our new EnGenius Fit solution for small and medium businesses. And it's designed to make it easier on people to roll out a network, be flexible. So we have one type of hardware, APs and switches, and we have two different management planes. You can use one or the other, or even if you want to, you can still manage those devices standalone. So standalone, the FitXpress, which is web-based, cloud managed, and a controller, so on premises. And the idea is that this is very much for, especially FitXpress, very much for companies which have little to no IT people, but still need to manage multiple locations. And the Fit controller is a little bit more scalable than the web version, but it allows you to keep everything in-house, so in your own network. This is important for companies that do not allow to have anything in the cloud on the internet, and all do not have internet or do not want to use internet. So FitXpress will allow you to, on a single account, allow you to manage up to 30 devices spread over up to 8 networks. And the Fit controller will allow you up to 100 devices over 50 networks. So in either case, for one account or a single device, it's the maximum of devices is always that maximum. It's not 30 times 8, but it's just 30. So 1 plus 2 plus adding up to 30. And for if you really have 50 networks, on average, you can only have 2 devices to manage. So again, FitXpress for little IT, and Fit controller if you need a little bit more scalability. So 30 is not enough. Again, of course, if you really need a huge number to manage a huge number of APs, obviously using the cloud, our cloud solution would even be better, because that has no real upper limit. So we will have, for now, 5 switches. We will have 2 indoor access points, and we will have 1 outdoor access point. If you want to do the Fit controller, we have a demo site that you can access, fitcondemo.engenius.ai, and you'll be able to look around in our controller. So why? Yeah, basically, people want a controller on site, and that is why we came out with the controller. Obviously, we already had the controller, but this is different, better in several ways. So the main word here is this is on premises. You can still manage other networks, but you need to do either use a VPN or do port forwarding to go from the other sites. And again, this is meant mainly for companies that have very high requirements based on where their data is, even their configuration data is. Well, we say here built-in enterprise-grade NMS. If you look at the capability, it's sort of comparable to our cloud solution, the basic cloud solution. So that is really nice. At the same time, because it's all on premises, on site, you have total control who can access it and who cannot. And it's designed on custom hardware to optimize it for performance, and it is relatively easy to set up. Especially if you put in all the devices that you want to configure in the same network, it's really easy. If you have offsite devices, you can either put in the IP that they need to use to get to the controller manually, or at the moment we also have DHCP option 43, where you can provide that IP address from the local DHCP server. So you need to have a DHCP server locally that you can manage, and it needs to support option 43, otherwise it won't work. But if you have that, you can just easily tell it to go to the IP of the Fit controller. I tested it, and it yeah, well, it works way better than I expected. So up to 100 devices, 50 networks. It has two RJ45 ports. One of them is PoE, so you can power it over PoE. And yeah, well, I'm not sure that we already implemented the backup feature with the SD, but that is a future capability. And it again, this Fit controller supports all these this hardware. I will talk about the hardware a little bit later. Some things that we can do. So different from our cloud, you cannot configure organizations, but you can configure different hierarchies. So from the site, you can configure hierarchies, and beneath that, you can configure different networks. An hierarchy may be on a local location level, but you could also do it on different things, and then the networks could be for different different departments within your company. For instance, obviously, in many of these networks, you will have a guest network. The other thing that's important here is that you can assign different users with roles with different privileges to the different networks. So you can have one admin that can do everything, but you can also assign viewers to certain networks and admins to only that specific network. And on top of that, like I said, one admin which can rule them all. The screens, I will show it a little bit later, but it will be pretty much the same as that you have with our cloud. The main thing that you can tell is that it has a different logo, and it is one solid color, one solid dark blue color. We do have a topology view included, so you can use that. And we have some device status information that can be shown, like throughput, channel utilization for Wi-Fi, the different APs that are there. And for the switches, we can also see some information like which of the ports are up, at which speed they are up, and if they are powering devices or not. It will support fast roaming, band steering, layer 2 is isolation, and we can do things like client limiting. Traffic shaping is currently not in the in it. They removed it. They had some issues, so that will be put in back later. And we have a block and VIP list. And it will also show some layer 7 applications. This is just based on the IPs the devices are connecting to. So if it's a known Google IP address, it will assign it to Google. If it's a known Netflix IP address, it will assign it to Netflix. This is not by doing any actual layer 7 deep packet inspection as far as I know. Then from that, we go to the FitXpress. We already have the apps on the Apple App Store and Google Play Store, so you can download them now and have a look. Basically, this is something like for companies where our current cloud solution is not a good fit, too large, maybe too complicated, something like that. That said, it will have the same features mostly. So just like with our cloud, you can deploy APIs by just using the app, scan them, configure them, or in some cases like with SSIDs, you can pre-configure those, then scan the devices, and then they will get the configuration from the internet, and after that you can monitor and if needed troubleshoot. The main thing here is because it's cloud managed, you can manage multiple networks from anywhere, anytime, and with any device. Yeah, well, at the moment, a phone. We will have a web interface just like our cloud.engenius.ai at the end of the year, this year, probably the beginning of next year. So that one is coming, but for now you can do it with any normal phone. Sorry, Blackberries are not supported. So you have your different sites, and you can monitor them from your phone or your tablet. And again, it will support several network switches, indoor wireless APs, and a outdoor device. Some use cases. If you want to put in a secured guest Wi-Fi, do a Facebook page thing, well, setting up the bandwidth limit is a little bit that's not in it at the moment, but you can block internet access for suspicious clients quite easily. There's a special screen for that. And yeah, well, remote management is the thing here. Again, something about onboarding, power up the device, connect to the internet, scan it. Yeah, well, actually, like I said, you can scan first and do the other stuff later. The order is not that important, but if you want to have it running immediately, scanning first will be the fastest thing. So you can easily create several Wi-Fi networks, several SSIDs, and define what they can do with it. Use open Wi-Fi, password, radius, a portal. And if you have a guest network, the guest cannot communicate with another, and also not with the printer. So take that into account. You can customize your captive portals to some degree, and you can grasp the network's real-time device and traffic information, and also get some alerts when problems occur. So those will be pushed to your phone. Things like APs going offline, for instance. You can also check for the APs that are most used. And for troubleshooting, you can get a quick view of a particular device and to drill into the details, including power utilization by port, which is nice. And then the block suspicious clients, you have a client blocking screen where you can just click on the button to block them. And then if they are blocked for all the SSIDs, not just the one. And then you will have the nice single interface with the different networks which you can navigate to, and then manage them and delegate different user different admins to those or viewers. One thing that is shown here is that here we have 3 or 5 admin users invited, so there's a limitation on the number of admins that you will have, of 5. So we have some diagnostic tools. These appear to be a little bit more advanced than the ones that we have with our basic on the cloud. So that's diagnostic based cloud is only for 60 seconds or something like that, and here you have it continuously. So I made a little screen about the competition. So try to be of at least feature parity with Aruba Instant On and with Meraki Go, and some additional things like with FitXpress we do support switches, and as far as I can tell, Meraki Go does not. We have AP walled garden feature. I've been told that this is missing for the other ones, and we have some more extensive statistics and logging. So FitXpress is intended for small solutions where internet is available, cloud management is allowed, and cost is apparently important. For the Fit controller, this is intended for on-premises solutions where internet is not available and cloud management is not possible or not allowed. So our cloud, yeah, we have a few limitations in size and cloud. And we have pro features that are not that cannot be in the Fit. It's important to know that Fit devices will not work on the cloud, and cloud devices will not work on Fit. So this is a choice you must make. If you are considering using any of the pro features, you need to use the cloud and not go with Fit. We expect to have all our products first on the cloud and only maybe later on Fit. So think about security APs, Wi-Fi 6 EAPs, Wi-Fi 6 4x4, outdoor APs, switches with 10 gigabit SFPs. For sure it will come, but it will take more time. So the FitXpress or Fit controller is only for on-premises solutions. If you need on-premises solutions and you cannot, and because of that you cannot go with any cloud solution, this is one of the things that you need to do. A little bit about the positioning. And let me move my head first, because something will pop up. So FitXpress for small things, our cloud solution for more scalable things, and Fit controller for on-premises. And I think it's important to note we do have a virtual Fit controller available for managed service providers, with which you can configure and control up over 2,000 devices. It has been tested with 2,000 devices, so that's important to also note. You cannot download it; you have to ask for it, but it is available. Not publicly, but like I said, for MSPs or very big customers who manage many devices and where the Fit controller is just too small. So about our APs, we have 2 indoor APs, 1 outdoor APs. They're all Wi-Fi 6. The FitX 2x2 is more or less the same as the EWS 357 AP. The FitX 4x4 is comparable to the EWS 377 AP. I've been told they had a little bit less memory, but otherwise they're more or less the same. And you have the FitX 2x2 outdoor, which is more or less the same as the EWS 850 AP, again with probably a little bit less memory. Then we have 5 switches, 1 8-port switch, 2 24-port switches, and 2 48-port switches. Again, we have a hardware which is based on the 2910P, the 7928P. In this case, it's actually the same hardware, but with different logos, and also sadly, there is no usable upgrade way to make the old style device a Fit device. So what you have is this, and also this is on a different switch OS platform, SWOS 2 instead of SWOS 1. You do not have a controller. You cannot manage these by by a SkyKey or something like that, and it does not have a built-in controller either. So this is purely for Fit or standalone. You can still use these standalone. I have some codes. Also, I have for the presentation, I made a PDF which is in the handouts. So if you need to know any of the part numbers or EN codes, UPC codes, it's there. Yeah, well, I expect that most of the devices will be available next month. Well, it's the last day of November, so that is pretty sure. At the moment, we do not have any 10G switches yet. So expect that the switches that we have only 1 gig ports for now. Like I said a little bit earlier at the beginning of the presentation, the 10 gig, it will come for sure, but it will take a little while before we have the 10 gigabit ports, especially for the FitXpress solution. We do not expect that for those solutions a lot of switches with 10 gigabit ports are required. The difference between FitXpress or EnGenius Cloud, no, there are different APs and different switches. So it is as soon as you make the choice, I'm sorry to say you are locked into that solution. Either you use them with the cloud solution and cloud APs and cloud switches with cloud solution, or you use your Fit APs with the FitWare. FitXpress has no licensing, so you cannot buy it. It's free. The FitXpress cloud, as far as I can tell, it's hosted exactly in the same way as our basic Pro cloud, so cloud at EnGenius.ai. So it is probably hosted by AWS, just like our main cloud. But if you look at the feature set, there's a list somewhere. You will see that the number of the amount of time that logs and stuff like that are kept is way shorter than even for the basic license of our cloud solution. So it needs less features, less CPU cycles, and less storage than the other one. So for the I think I need to go back a little bit in my presentation for the next thing to just show it off a little bit. Well, all the way back almost. So again, for FitXpress, 20 devices. And you can share those over 8 different networks. Those can be all APs, they can all be switches, or they can be a combination, like you have one 24-port switch and you have 20 APs, something like that. And that will fit nicely in the 30 device limit. For the Fit controller, it's comparable. You could have 100 APs and not manage have different switches, or you could have something like 2 48-port switches and have something like 90 something APs on those. So that can all be done that way. And yes, that could be true. Maybe the number is only 5 and they made an error here. Let's keep it at 5 for now. I will check that what is the exact number. Well, the layer 7 analysis, like I said, it will show FitXpress will show you information about which sites are being accessed. Where did they leave this? But as far as I'm aware, it is actually not looking into the packets themselves at the layer 7, because then it would be way smarter than any device that should be possible. It just looks at the IP addresses that are being connected to and does reverse lookups, things like that, to figure it out. Also, if you use the it might be snooping on the DNS requests, but otherwise it's just looking at IP addresses, and from the IP addresses it can determine that it's probably Google, probably Netflix, probably Facebook that you're connecting to. So it's not real layer 7 analysis, but it will give you an idea that too many colleagues are looking at Netflix during the day. So about the differences between the SkyKey and the Fit controller, the important thing to note is that you cannot use, they will manage different hardware, so you cannot manage any Fit devices with EasyMaster, SkyKey, or nSky switches. They are really totally separate. On a management level, in both cases, they can manage 100 devices. But if you look at the capability that you have with the Fit controller, regarding the switches, you will notice that where with the SkyKey, you can enable and disable your ports, and that's more or less everything that you can do with the management of the Fit of the SkyKey on the switch. Then if you go to the either the Fit controller or with FitXpress, you will have a much more full feature set. So let me go in, and maybe I can even show you it on my local account. So this is my local Fit controller that I connected to. I can log in on it. And I can configure the SSIDs. For people who have done stuff with our cloud, they will see the same, except for, like I said, Fit here and a bar that is continuous solid blue. So that is your main difference that you can see. But if you go into, for instance, your switches, oh, I haven't assigned the switch. Let me try to assign the switch from the inventory to the network so that I can play with it. So now it's assigned. Now I should be able to manage this. So here you have the same things that you will see in the cloud, but you will see that you can do stuff with VLANs. You can add VLAN ID 2, VLAN 2, apply, and then you can add all the VLANs to a tagged VLAN here. I think I still find that you need to do a lot of check marks before you can apply it. But you can do this. You can assign mirror ports. You can do PoE port scheduling, link aggregations, all these kinds of things you could not do with the SkyKey, but you can do that with Fit. again, for there is a demo account. It is in the PDF that you can download from the handout section on the header page. Let me see, demo. Yeah. Let me. I hope that now it will pop up in the question chat thing, the Fit controller link. So that's the. And for the Cloud Express, you can just create a download the app and create an account and play with it. Although you might be limited because you do not have any actual devices assigned to it, but you can look at it. Somebody might have noticed that I have a cloud switch here. Actually, the answer is no. I have this for testing. We had some firmware for the ECS for testing because we had the hardware, and both are based on SWOS 2.0. But for now, they decided to not allow this firmware. So I have it, but it's just for some testing. Hopefully this will be possible sometime in the future, but I have asked about it and the answer for now was no. And about the whole thing with why would we even come out with FitXpress? I was told the main reason about that was let me go back to the other screen. I think that they have been looking at what the competition was being doing, and they focused on Aruba Instant On and Meraki Go, and thought that they could not create a solution inside cloud that would be able to compete with this successfully. And this is why FitXpress was created. Personally, I would prefer everybody just use the cloud because although FitXpress is very nice, about the same things that we have as features in FitXpress, you already also have in the cloud, and you will have much more upside in the sense that you can grow. Let me see if I don't think I'm not seeing any additional answers. So one of the things that I found with with this is that at the moment you will see that all my devices are offline. So I disabled my or reset my EWS 357 for testing, and it is in a network. It is physically there. See, it's here. I can reach it. I can. I think I can also look into it. Oh, by now it's it thinks it is, but it isn't sort of connected to the cloud for some reason. I will do pairing, and hopefully after this the device will be, yeah, now it's showing that it's up to date and online. So I need to do the pairing step to have the APs in my lists online. It will pop up a little bit later. So now it knows about it. So yeah, it is mostly the same. If you know, the biggest difference that I see is that with Fit, we still have SSID and radio settings here, and it's not below a AP header um, or access point header, but it's still separate. Where in the cloud they move these one level lower, who need access points, but otherwise it's very much the same. Um, I expect there will be a price list available. I didn't look at it, but I expect that that the access points, for instance, will be somewhat cheaper than the cloud range, except that in the cloud range we have a Wi-Fi 5 device, which might still be a little bit cheaper than the Wi-Fi 6 that we have in Fit. Well, at the moment, what I did here, because this AP has been assigned. Let me see if I can reset it. It will come back, but now I probably have to remove that. Let me see if I can quickly inventory. So I removed it. By the way, if for people who, well, like I said, we do have a virtual version of this. Well, it's not actually a virtual version; it's a Docker version. But if you have that, the interface and the capabilities is exactly the same as this. Only you're then allowed to do a few thousand of devices instead of just 100. So I need to wait a little while. And this is different from the Fit APs compared to the Cloud APs, right? Because in the Cloud APs, you can only manage them via the cloud and not anything else. But for Fit, you can do them standalone if you want to. But as this one was already configured by my controller, I was not allowed to do it manually anymore. Oh, by the way, your input is of course is important. If you find that we should make it possible for our cloud devices to work on Fit, or maybe even the other way around, please push your sales contacts about that, and also drop the mail to me so that I can get this input to our top management. Let me see if it's if it is already back. Yes, it is. So admin. Of course, I should overrule my password always, but yeah. So here you see the same interface that you know from most of our standalone APs. So it's not any different from what you should expect, and it's the same for the switches. But at the moment, I have no a switch to show. They are stuck in logistic hell. Yes, it has exactly the same UI as that you will see with the EWS 357 AP or any AWS AP or any of our current APs, like the N station will also have this. Only some devices, for instance, will have the mesh capability and others will not, but these also have mesh capability on this level. And it's not in any way different. So if you're not a network, this is where you can put in your cloud where your controller is, if you do not have access to DHCP option 43. I was told these also have limited lifetime warranty. I think it should also be up on our site if they updated it. So the warranty is the same as what you have with the EWS series. Did I skip anybody's question? Answered all the questions. More questions maybe? I think this is important to know what FitXpress is about. And I also think that this is the positioning here is the thing that is sort of important, especially with this Docker version for MSPs. So yeah, here it says 5 networks. Like always, Chawen is very attentive and also noticed all those kinds of little details. Anyway, I will check if it's 5, 8, or even a different number. What about that? I see this. What that? You have to elaborate a little bit more. What did you write before? Okay, yeah, interesting. A good question. So if I have a Fit controller, can I do the same as with the SkyKey? Okay, I do not expect Fit controllers to be accessible through our cloud like the SkyKey is. I think they told me that FitXpress will offer the ability to also access Fit controllers. So that for the 30 devices limit, Fit controllers will also be. So you might be able to use FitXpress to access your Fit controller. But for it's sort of self-defeating, because why do you have a Fit controller? You have a Fit controller because you're not allowed to do anything with the cloud. So or you may not even have internet and you just want to have manage a local intranet instead of a local internet connection. And if you're not allowed to do anything with the cloud, it feels a little bit strange to have your Fit controllers accessible through the cloud. So I think that's one of the reasons that it's not in there yet. But I have been told there are plans to make it available. But to not further confuse things, it will not be on the cloud, it will be on FitXpress. Well, somebody mentioned SkyKey 2. In some ways, the Fit controller is the SkyKey 2, only it's not capable of managing the old devices. So there will not be a SkyKey 2. And if you look at our availability of devices, you will also see that the non-Fit EWS devices are either no longer available or will be end of life soon. So we are migrating sort of from the old SkyKey Easy Master to this different solution. And sorry to say, there is no upgrade path from one to the other. At least not as much. There are some APs that you can upgrade from. Some of the Wi-Fi 6 APs can be upgraded to work with the Fit controller. So the 357 and the 377 850 APs can be upgraded to work with the Fit controller, but just the Fit controller. They cannot work with the FitXpress because FitXpress needs to be aware of serial numbers and the special codes, and they're not, but for Fit controller, in that case we can fake it, but that's only for those three APs: 357, 377, 850. So for people who recently rolled out a SkyKey with only those kinds of APs, they can upgrade to the Fit controller, but it's very, very limited. Like I said, with the switches, we have no way to upgrade those in the field. Not sure exactly why, but I think that in the end, they were too afraid. Okay. Okay. I thought I already answered about the warranty. The warranty for the Fit devices is limited lifetime warranty. Yeah, well, we have discussed over the last, well, almost 1.5 years, I think, about having upgrade capability of the non-Wi-Fi 6 devices to so Wi-Fi 5 or early devices to this solution, and apparently it was not possible to do. By the way, just to be sure, I will check about the limited lifetime warranty for the devices. The FitXpress controller is just a controller. It does not have DHCP server, firewall, etc. It has the same basic functionality as the SkyKey. It's just sitting in the network, and you can connect to it, and it will manage the APs and the switches that are assigned to it. But otherwise, it will depend on the local router to do the DHCP stuff, the firewalling stuff, etc. There is some discussion about getting a Fit gateway, but that is very very limited, or very limited. That's still on discussion. Auto reboot function of cameras, if they support the surveillance features. I don't know. Let me see. Switch. We have PoE scheduling, but we have ports. As far as I can tell, the answer to having surveillance features is no. It does not. You can manually do it by configuring the port and then disabling PoE and then enable it again a few minutes later. But there's no that's not possible. And I think that in the FitXpress there's even a button to do a power cycle, but I don't think it supports a surveillance feature. But I can ask that question. Maybe I'm overlooking it, but I don't think so. I think again this is something that we want to reserve for the real cloud. But okay, it might be interesting for something like the Fit controller, more so than a FitXpress. Oh, okay. For the APs, that's a nice question for the APs. If you look at the configuration of the APs, or actually configuration of the SSIDs, let me put it in the right place. So just like our other devices, you can choose to do NET mode or bridge mode. So in bridge mode, the AP will just be transparent. It will, if you want the IP address, you need the DHCP server on the other end. Then we have the NET mode, and the NET mode, in that case, the access point will work as a very simple router, and for all the clients that connect to it, it will deliver an IP address from a fixed range, and you can configure custom DNSs to assign this. there are some applications where you want this. For instance, when you have a very limited number of IP addresses available in the local network, then you only need to assign an IP address to the APs, and the APs will assign IP addresses to the clients. However, when you have this, roaming will probably not work. It will not work well. So this will just use the built-in pool. But as soon as you move from one AP to another AP, your roaming will be broken. Then it will need to get a new IP address, and it might not understand that it needs to do that, because with normal roaming, it expected that it does not need to do TCP. So you only use this in single AP solutions with a very restricted number of IPs available on the connected on the wired side. Okay, that's that. So it is important to note, just like our cloud and just like SkyKey and all those devices, this is a controller. It does not influence the day-to-day working of the APs. It's only about monitoring and changing configuration. If it drops out for any reason, you might be missing logging. You might not be able to change configurations, but the APs will just continue to work. The switches will just continue to work. So yes, it's a single point of failure in the sense that you will not be able to manage it, but it will not make your whole network go down immediately. So in that sense, I would not call this a single point of failure. It's obviously not nice to be limited to your controller, but a single point of failure, no, not really. And this is the same. So the NET mode with capability of having NET and bridging with our APs. This is a feature that is common in all our devices. This is common for our cloud APs. You can configure this in the cloud. It is common for our standalone APs, the old EWS and the new WES. As far as you know, at least most devices. I think there are some devices even that if you configure them as a if you have this feature in it, you can then it works the same. So it's the same in the cloud, and I'm not totally sure, but it might even be possible to configure this in the SSIDs here too. I think it's part of the guest network. If you enable guest network here, I think that will be the behavior. So guest network in this one will make it go as a NET router. Any more questions? I hope I didn't miss anyone. Okay, I spent over an hour now. I think. Thank you for all the questions. That was nice. Like I said, if you have any remarks, don't hesitate to reach out to the sales people about it. so that they are also aware. Because as a acting PM, product manager, I can try to push the stuff, but usually things get much easier done when the sales are pushing. So thank you. Thank you for joining this meeting for this webinar. And I think that in 2 weeks' time we will have one last webinar for this year. I think it's about VPNs. So see you then. Have a nice day.